Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome back to Tested by Pixel Movers. Today I'm going to be reviewing the XGIMI H1 projector. It's a 1080p projector which I became a backer of back in November on the INDIEGOGO website. It was one I'd got a few adverts come up on Facebook about it. I'd seen it elsewhere, decided to look into it and really liked the spec of this particular projector, so decided to back it on INDIEGOGO, which went quite smoothly. There was a bit of a I'd say a slight delay in the delivery time and expectations, but that's how things go on these Kickstarter sites, and it was one of those things where you know, if you're used to Kickstarters, you've got to put up with these slight delays and some issues. So I'm going to talk about the projector itself. I've got some notes off to my screen at the side here, so if I keep glancing that way, I'm looking at my notes just to make sure that I cover everything about this projector. My initial thoughts on the projector is that I love it. It's got a great picture, brightness is pretty good as long as you've got a decent dark room. There are a few niggles which I'll go into towards the end, which hopefully might get sorted. There might be some things that they're probably going to struggle to sort out with the firmware. I could be wrong, I'm not a technical person, but I'll give you my review based on a home cinema user, somebody who loves watching films, big collection of films. I wanted the ability to be able to watch the films I watch on a big screen. So I'll go through my list here that I've got and give you kind of like my feedback on my review on this XGIMI H1 1080p projector. So the first thing, I used to do unboxing videos. I don't do those anymore. I think it's pointless. Yeah, this projector comes in a fabulous looking box, nice little black box, little drawer at the bottom which has got bits and pieces in. It's very well packaged, it looks very swish, but in the end the box it comes in doesn't matter. A lot of people throw it away. They're going to keep the projector, you know, then this box is going to be put in a garage in the loft or thrown away. So I'm not going to do an unboxing. I'll just tell you what it comes with. So it comes with the projector itself, so you get the H1 projector. It's a very nice looking projector. I'm going to intercut this video with video images, but it's a very nice projector, very nicely minimalistic. It has built-in Harman Kardon speakers, which sound okay. I'll come on to that in a bit. I'll do a bit more in-depth information about the actual sound of the projector itself. It's got lots of different inputs and outputs. So you've got two HDMI outputs on it. You've got an optical SPDIF input, which you can use an optical cable to output from the. So it's an output, it's an optical output. So you get an optical out, so you can link the projector to another audio source if you want by an optical cable. It has USB ports. So you can plug in something like a Chromecast or a Fire Stick, or even just a straightforward USB stick with movies on, or music, so it'll play music as well. So it's got all these various inputs and outputs. It comes with a power supply, remote control, a little pin which you use to reset the lens. If you need to do a zoom on the lens, you put the pin inside and shift it and it'll do a lens zoom. I've not used it. But I've got it at a place where it's the right distance from the back of the room to the screen that I've got up, and I can just manipulate it better with the keystoning and the onboard kind of like digital step zoom on it anyway, so I don't need to bother with that. So yeah, package wise, it's a very neat package, comes nice. Previous to me getting the projector, I bought a stand. It's the XGIMI stand that is built for their projectors. Now, I did find out after buying the stand that I've got that this was an older stand which won't take the power supply in the base. XGIMI are actually making some more stands, so for those who backed the project on Indiegogo, you will get a stand. If you bought the stand from them, you'll get a stand which does fit the power pack in the base, so I've been told. So that shouldn't be an issue for yourselves. It's not an issue for me. My stand's down the side of my sofa, between a bookcase as well, so the power supply sits on top. It's not an issue, and I got it for a decent price. So like I say, it's a nice size. It doesn't really feel that portable. It's quite a decent big size projector. Obviously with the Indiegogo, on the Indiegogo site, XGIMI said that they would, if it got to a certain level, everybody would get a bag, put a carrying bag for this. I'm probably not going to use it as a portable projector, personally. I have Z1 Aurora as well, which is also an XGIMI projector, 720p projector. I won't use the H1 probably as a portable projector, but they are going to supply me in the next couple of months probably with a bag that'll come in the post, and all the backers, you know, will get bags for these projectors, for these H1s. Mine came pretty much in a decent time scale. It was a little bit delayed. It came with 3D glasses, 2 pairs, and it came with a adapter mount, so it will go on the tripod. It doesn't have the H1 itself doesn't have a tripod, direct tripod mount. It has on the base some screws you undo. You put on this adapter base, screws back in, and then you can put it onto any kind of tripod, any standard tripod, and you can also put it on this particular XGIMI stand, which is a lovely stand, by the way. It's really nicely well made, all aluminium, heavy base, and it's a really good stand. So it came with 3D glasses. It came with the stand. Not got the bag yet. The bag's on it. The bag should be on its way in a few months. And I told you about the reset pin. It comes with a very small, very basic user manual. It gives you enough information to get up and going, up and running with it. It's not as in depth as I've seen with, say, the likes of an LG projector or something like that. You know, they're a bit more in depth manual wise, but they've kept this nice and simple, and it should have most of the information that you need. It's had most of the information that I need in there anyway. So you've got things in there like it shows you how to use the remote control, where there's a little switch in the bottom of the remote which will turn it from being a general remote into, if you give it a shake, you can use it as a mouse pointer. The mouse pointer for me has been a little bit, it goes a little bit off whack, you know, after you've used it for a while and you're going backwards and forwards. It goes a little bit astray. If you put it down on a flat surface, leave it for a couple of seconds, then pick it up again and use it, it tends to rectify itself. And there's a little switch at the bottom as well, which you switch to one side to use the volume buttons on the remote as a focus, because it's got a focus drive inside the H1. So you switch the little button to one side, use the volume buttons, and that will focus the image. There's been some issues reported about focusing, where the centre of the screen's been in focus, but the outside edges have been a little bit out of focus. I think that's particularly myself down to that I've got mine off to one side. I'm using 4-corner keystone correction. That could be an issue. It's not straight on that screen. It could be that it's at an angle as well, so it's pointed up a bit and it's a little bit to one side. I need to have a play around with that and see if that makes a difference. If not, it could just be down to the lenses. It's probably using plastic lenses, whereas glass lenses are better in projectors, tend to be better and more accurate. And it's something that you'll even find on higher end projectors. This isn't a high-end projector. It is still quite a mid-range projector, even though it'll do 1080p, which is brilliant. But I wouldn't class it as a very high-end projector at all. It's still very good, which I'll do like a roundup at the end of this to say what I feel about the projector and if there's anything I don't like. But like I say, it could be down to the lenses used in it, and you'll find it on a lot of other projectors. I used to have an in-focus projector which was the same. It's slightly out of focus up in the corners and the edges, especially when you use it on a big screen. I'm using a 120-inch sapphire screen, a manual pull-down screen, so it's one of those things you can either live with, you know, and take it that it's because of the type of projector it is, this is how it's going to be. But have a play around. I'm going to have a play around as well, and just make sure that it's not an issue with where it's placed and the focusing. So we'll have a look at that in the future, and if I do find a way around it, or if there's any ways to improve that focusing, I'll let you know. So my particular setup is that I have a 4K TV, LG TV, 55-inch. I have, for my sound output, I use a Yamaha YSP 2700, I believe it is, 2900, 2700. It's a Yamaha sound projector speaker, so it's not just a sound bar, it's a sound bar which bounces sound around the room to give you virtual surround sound. It's brilliant, I love it. I'm going to do a review of that at a later date. But that's what I use for my sound. Other things that I have running into the sound bar include my Xbox One S, which has a 4K Blu-ray player built in. I also have, I'm in the UK, and we have a satellite feed is from a Sky Q system, and the Sky Q system supports 4K, so you can actually watch 4K movies through the Sky Q system as well. So I've got 4K Blu-ray and 4K on Sky Q on demand. So those are the main things I've got going into the unit, and the kind of things that I want to be able to project as well. Obviously, because I've got a TV there and a projection screen, I needed some way of being able to have both on if I wanted both on at the same time, or that I didn't have to bother about unplugging cables to be able to watch both. So I got a splitter, a HDMI splitter, which goes out from the soundbar into the splitter, then out from the splitter into the TV, then one out to the projector. The splitter did that fine, so it sent an image there, that was fine. As soon as I tried to watch anything 4K, because it says the H1 will accept a 4K signal, even though it's not native 4K, it will only do a maximum of 1080p. But it will accept the signal. It will downscale that to 1080. It wouldn't do it because this the H1 doesn't have what a thing called HDCP 2.2, which is needed on for all 4K equipment. So my TV has HDCP 2.2 on one of its HDMI ports. My Yamaha soundbar is HDCP 2.2 compliant, so it will send that HDCP 2.2 signal. Now, what is HDCP 2.2? HDCP is a copy protection system that was developed when 4K came out. It has to be on all 4K equipment, and it's there to stop people from copying 4K content. So what happens is, for example, my Xbox One S, you put a 4K Blu-ray disc in, the TV will talk to the Xbox One S, and it will say, yes, you're 2.2 compliant, yes, I'm 2.2 compliant, I can play that. If any of those things in between aren't HDCP 2.2 compliant, it won't play it. You get a message on screen saying either your TV is not compatible or whatever's not compatible. There'll be something that's stopping it from doing it. Now that tends to crop up if you've got an older 4K TV. So 4K, if you're an early adopter for 4K TV, some TVs don't have the HDCP 2.2 protocol or input. So then they would get a message on screen saying it can't play this 4K content. The only way around that was to look online and buy a splitter, which some of these splitters would strip out the HDCP 2.2 signal, and that would allow you to play it, or buy something that would convert the HDCP 2.2 signal to a 1.4 signal, and that would then allow you to play it. While the Indiegogo campaign was going on for the H1, I got in contact with XGIMI and asked them if their H1 was HDCP 2.2 compliant, and they were unsure. They didn't seem to know a lot about it, which was a little bit scary that a company making a projector didn't know about the HDCP 2.2, or they were just being a little bit cagey. I think it was one of those things where it wasn't needed, it wasn't required, because all they were trying to sell it on the back of was that you could watch things like YouTube videos and downloaded content that you've got yourself, which has usually already been stripped of HDCP 2.2, probably illegally, or videos that you can download from YouTube are HDCP 2.2 protected anyway. So I think that was kind of like their selling point for the H1, that it wasn't generally for watching 4K content from a 4K Blu-ray player or through a satellite system especially developed for it. Now, I managed to get around it. At first I got a converter which converted 2.2 to 1.4. It would work, but when I switched HDMI channels on my soundbar, every now and again I would just get a blank green screen, and I'd have to switch backwards and forwards a couple of times to get the signal to come through. It just wasn't playing ball with this particular model of converter that was converting the signal. So it was a bit of a bind. So I thought I'll get a splitter, and I'll try a splitter that would convert the signal or strip the signal, and I managed to find one of those. So now I've got this tiny little box, this little HDMI splitter, which strips off the signal, the HDCP 2.2 signal, so it will just send the signal out to the TV and to the projector with no problem at all. If I bring it up on screen, if I put the SkyQ box on or I put a 4K disc in, it will show in the top corner of the screen that it's accepting it's accepting the 2.2 4K signal, but the 2.2 has been stripped out of it. So that's now working now, and I can watch 4K content from my Xbox One and from my Xbox One S and from my SkyQ box as well. So the 4K is fine there. So that's not been a major problem. So that's my setup, and now I've bypassed the 2.2 problems. I personally particularly like full surround sound, whether it be, you know, the soundbar surround sound that I've got, which sounds brilliant. But I prefer that to listening to it from the internal speakers of the H1. It's got some decent speakers in the Harman Kardon speakers, and it'd be fine for listening to a bit of music from and things like that. But for me to watch a film from it or TV, it's a little bit harsh. Not a great deal of low end frequency. Like I say, enough to, you know, just stick it on in the background while you're doing something else in the living room. But it's just one of those things that I personally prefer the sound from my soundbar when watching a movie. Out of the box, watching movies, the calibration was way off. Like it is with most, you know, with TVs, with most projectors, it's way off. So I downloaded a little app on my Android phone. It's available for iOS as well, called THX Tune Up. So you download that to your phone. I've got a Chromecast which I plugged into the back of the projector, into whichever HDMI port. Choose that port. It'll come up on screen with the tune up options, and you can just go through it on your phone. And the beauty with it is it gives you things like the red and blue overlays, so you can get your colours and things set up correctly. And it's just a nice, neat little calibration device to get your projector looking the best it can be. And it really does need doing. You know, if you want to get the best out of your projector, really calibrate it, either using something like that or find the Disney Wow disc, or you can even got your local in the UK Currys, and they do a disc as well, which you can buy pretty cheap to calibrate with as well. So calibration wise, that's fine. So I've gone through Blu-ray playback, 4K Blu-ray. It accepts everything with ease, switches with ease. It's a very nice laid out menu system as well, very simple, easy to get into any aspects that you want really. Some of the best features that I like about this projector, I mean, I've had previous projectors before where I've had to have them square on at the screen. With this one, like I say, I've got it over to my left hand side, down the side of my sofa, and I can have it pointed at an angle to the screen. It's like I say 120-inch sapphire pull down screen, and I can use the 4-corner keystoning to make it fit, even though it's over to one side. And I'd never seen that before on a projector, and that's one key feature that I really like about this projector, is that you can have it more or less anywhere, and still square it up to whatever screen or whatever wall that you're projecting against, which is just brilliant. Like I say, it's got a good layout. So the system itself has got a really good layout. The only kind of things where, and I've seen on, like I had my forum on that I've done on Facebook, the XGIMI H1 owners group, and some people have been saying on there and on the Indiegogo page about problems with Netflix. The Netflix thing brings me back to the HDCP 2.2. Anything that's being output from Netflix is going to be have some form of copy protection built in. And I think the main problem with this is, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the main problem is that the Netflix app will speak to the projector. It will look to see if the projector is HDCP compliant, and it's probably coming back with an issue with that, so that it's not compliant. I mean, I can't even find out what level of what level of HDCP, which is the level of copy protection, the actual H1 has, if any. If it doesn't have any copy protection built in, either 1.4, 2.2, then it's going to have a problem speaking to the likes of Netflix, Amazon, that kind of thing. I didn't buy this projector for its built-in apps. I built it because it's a good projector, you know, so it projects a good image, and as long as it projects a good image, 1080p and looks nice, that's what I was after. The additional of having Android TV on board is great. It's a great added feature, but it's not why I bought the projector, and it wouldn't, cost-wise, it wouldn't add that much more to a projector. It's quite a cheap thing to put on a projector these days. And for those people who are thinking, well, they said it would do this and said it would do that, I was hoping it would, but just because it doesn't do that, it's not a deal breaker for me, because there are other ways I can do it, and I have done. So for example, for Netflix, for Amazon Prime, which I'm a member of as well, I've either used my Xbox One S, which is capable for both of those, and I've also got, which I got to review, was a little Amazon Fire TV box, not one of the sticks, but one of the boxes. So I've used that, linked to it, and it plays fine, you know, because it's linked through separately into my, so the Amazon Fire, the Firebox goes into my Yamaha soundbar, and then out from whatever plays through my Yamaha soundbar, then goes to the TV, goes to the projector. It plays it fine, plays 4K fine, no problem at all. So for me, I would rather do that. I would rather go on an external route, know it works properly, to have to worry about what's built into the projector itself. Yeah, you can. I've loaded Kodi onto the projector. I've tried Netflix. I've tried Amazon Prime. I've had problems with Amazon Prime and Netflix, but Kodi works fine. You know, especially the add-ons you can add to Kodi as well, and things like that. I'm a bit of a purist. I like to see my films in the best possible resolution, best sound I can. So again, Kodi for me wasn't an issue, but I wanted to see if I could put it on there to see if it worked, and it did. You need to have a little bit of a work around it and try and find the Google Play app. If you can find that externally and install this yourself, it's the better way to go, really. And then you've got access to the whole Google Play Store. So I've tried a few little things, like a few little games, Crossy Roads, that kind of thing, just for the kids to play on a big screen, which was great. So they played some things through that, and I've downloaded other apps as well that I've put on there, and it's been a nice way of using it, but I prefer to use it externally. I bought a projector for being a projector. To me, XGIMI could have got rid of the Android and everything else that's not projector based, and just left it as a bare bones projector with lots of nice features. And I would just use the external devices for Netflix, for Amazon Prime, for Kodi, everything else. That's my personal opinion, but each to their own. And if you can get yours to work and you like the way it works, that's great. I mean, the biggest thing I see with being internal, so if for example, Amazon Prime did work and Netflix did work on the H1, you're only going to get the sound coming from the H1, and if you're happy with that, that's fine. I personally don't. I don't then want to have another lead coming from the back of my projector back into my amplifier to watch Netflix and Amazon Prime. I'd rather have a separate box that links into my sound projector bar, and then I get sound, full 5.1 surround sound, direct into the projector itself, and I'm listening to it through my good speaker system. Each their own. I've talked about a little bit gaming on the Android side, using the internal Android system. Obviously, I have the Xbox One S, so I've tried gaming through the Xbox, the H1 as well. Big screen gaming, it looks superb. obviously maximum resolution 1080, but I mean it just looks absolutely amazing. I mean some of the best games. I've just got the new Horizon game, a driving game, and that looks absolutely stunning on it. I've downloaded the demo for the new Resident Evil 7 and playing that in a dark room, you know, with the full surround sound, and that was just as creepy as hell. But just for most games, first person shooters, things like that, it's great. Just be aware it's big screen, so if you're doing a lot of moving around and you sat there, there were a couple of occasions where I felt a little bit queasy. Obviously my eyes are telling me I'm moving around everywhere, my ears are telling me I'm not. So there's a little bit of getting used to it there, but gaming on this projector is just absolutely stunning. I can't really say much more than that apart from give it a go. If you've got a system, you've got the setup to do that, try it on this projector, because it brings gaming to a whole new level. Forget virtual reality. I think it's a little bit of a gimmick, is virtual reality. I'd rather have a big screen in front of me. The bigger they can do it, if they can start wrapping it around me in the future, that's fine. But I think gaming on a big screen is just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Let's think about overall. Like I say, I love this projector. I think it's got a great picture quality once you've got it all calibrated correctly. I think it looks very nice. It's a very nice looking projector, very nice design. The sound in it, the sound from it is a lot better than a lot of other projectors you get out there, which have like tiny little 3-watt speakers in them. This one's great. It's got some bass ports underneath, which give it some decent grunt. You know, if you want some music from it. Shame there's not some more options within the projector itself to adjust those levels, so take your trebles down, your basses up a little bit. That would be nice in a future update if XGIMI could do that. Put some kind of little equalizer in there that you can tweak. That would be good. Obviously, aside from the issues with some of the apps, Netflix, that kind of thing, there are workarounds to that. It's probably not an issue that XGIMI thought about at the time, but it is obviously. Excuse me. Obviously, it is a problem to some. But overall, I love this projector. I've also got, like I said, the Z1 Aurora, which again is a 720p one. I've tried both at the same kind of like distance to the screen, and you can really tell the difference between the picture quality of the Z1, obviously it's 720p, to the 1080 H1 is a vast difference. Because I can run 4K video through it as well, I'm actually getting a 4K signal coming into the H1, even though it's 1080p. There is a difference in quality. This is all down to a thing called, I think it's chroma subsampling, whereas in the 1080p pixel, so a single pixel on 1080p can be made up of like about 3 or 4 different arrays, even if it's a single pixel, with different information in those. In a lot of the 1080p screens, they disregard some of the colour information, whereas what this will be doing, because it's accepting a 4K signal and downgrading it, it will keep a lot more of the colour information. So I think it will give it a richer look, more natural colour look, because it's got more information there to work with. It's not going to make it any sharper, really. You might perceive it to be sharper, but it's not going to make it any sharper. But I do think it does make a difference. One example was the BBC have put out a small trailer for It's about 8 minutes worth of footage or whatever of the Planet Earth 2. They've done this little test where you can watch 8 minutes worth of footage of 4K on the system. I've managed to switch between them both, so watch the 1080p version of that clip and the 4K version, and there is a difference between the 4K and the 1080p in, say, colour reproduction, which can probably in your eyes make it look and feel sharper than it is and better than it is. So it does make a difference if you can get a 4K signal to the H1 by stripping out the HDCP 2.2 or converting it. Try it, because I do think it looks good. I mean, I watched The Martian the other night on my SkyQ box, and it looks stunning, absolutely stunning. So that's that. Any issues that I've had? Yes. If anybody has watched my forum, I looked at my forum, been on Indiegogo, they'll have seen some of my messages. One of the main issues was that the H1 was shutting down randomly on its own. I've been sat there watching it, half an hour sometimes it shut down, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, it would shut down. If it had been happening on regular occasions, just as somebody who's a little bit technically minded and I review other electrical equipment, things like that, if this had been happening on a regular basis, you know, every 20 minutes, every half hour, if it was close to that, I would have thought, yeah, there's something internally wrong. So I started trying to narrow down what it could be. First of all, I thought it was a remote control that was not charged fully, because I was messing around with the remote control one day, going through menu systems, things like that, and it would freeze and then it would shut down. So I thought it might be to do with that, so I charged the remote control. Didn't seem to be happening then, or at all after I did that, so I thought, oh, I fixed it. But then watching it the other night, it did it again, it shut down. I closed the lens cover, opened it back up again, and it came back on, and it was on for 20 minutes, shut down again. Did that again, it was on, it was only for 5 minutes, and it shut down again. So there's something amiss with this. And what I had noticed the other day while I was cleaning is that I'd knocked the cable, and it comes with a Chinese 3-pin plug on the end that doesn't fit the UK plug socket, so you get this little adapter thing that comes with it. It looks like a salt and pepper pot type thing, and you twist it apart and you get different adapters for different countries. I plug that in to that and excuse me, I plugged that into that, and it wasn't a good fit. It just kept popping out really easy. It wasn't connected. It didn't want to be connected properly, so I've chopped off the end of that, and I've wired in a UK 3-pin plug, which I think is far superior anyway. So I've wired in one of these plugs. I plugged that in. I had it running the other day, just left it running, pointed at a wall, not watching it, but just, you know, left it running to see how long it would stay on. And it was on for 5 hours till my son turned it off. I put it back on again in the evening. We watched like 2 hours worth of TV on it, and that was fine until I turned it off again. So it seems to be running fine. So we'll see if that's the culprit. If it is, it's something other people can take on board, because I know there's at least a couple of other people who've mentioned it so far, that theirs have been shutting down. It's worth looking at this connection with the adapter that comes with it. Either go out and buy another adapter, one that fits nice and firm, or try and rewire it to your own particular country's plug, hardwire it in there, and see how that goes. But I'll come back with any feedback. If it does start shutting down again, I'll let you know. If it doesn't, then obviously we fixed it and we're okay. And the only other one issue, which is a thing called, which I've been told by somebody else on my forum, it's a thing called coil whine. And because I have it to one side of me here and I sit quite close, I hear it. If I move away a bit, you don't hear it as much, but what it basically is it's a noise that comes from the projector, and it sounds like an old style dial-up modem a little bit. So it's a lot of screeching and squealing at lowish levels, but you can hear it, and it's screeching and squealing. And apparently what it is there's something inside there that's got wire wrapped around it. It's got copper wire around it, and as a current passes through, it vibrates those wires and it creates this noise. I've told XGIMI about it. I think a few other people have on the forum as well, and on their INDIEGOGO page. But it's something that needs looking at. I don't know if it can be addressed with a firmware update, whether that would change any of the current that's passing through it or anything like that, or it's something there that's set. There's been people online who've said the way they fixed it on other electrical equipment is to squirt some super glue on the coil, because there's only current passing through the coil. It doesn't get hot, it wouldn't burn it, it wouldn't scorch it. But I wouldn't recommend this at all, doing this, but this is what somebody said online that you can do to stop it. To me it's not an issue. I have the sound up quite at a decent level on my surround sound to drown out any low sound coming from the projector itself. It's a quiet projector anyway. The fan's not very loud, anything like that, so it's not a major issue. As long as I've combated the turning off side, I can cope with the little bit of noise coming from a coil whine. But it's something I'll come back to at a later date if I find out any more information, if it can be fixed in the, I think XGIMI have said there's going to be a February update, so we'll revisit that when the time comes. I've talked about overall quality of this projector. I love it. I think it's a great quality projector. I think it's well built. I do think, yeah, there are some issues, but they're not, for me, they're not issues that would have me sending this projector back, or you know, rethinking a different projector. I like it. It's easy to use. It has a couple of issues. Most projectors that I've had have had issues, whether it be focusing issues, noise issues, whatever. You know, it's like good. A very, very nice projector. I'm happy that I've backed it. I think XGIMI have done a good job. Just coming on to XGIMI themselves, I do understand they're in the process of sending out all these projectors to people. I know people have got a little bit angry that, you know, there's been a lack of communication. I would say give them a little bit of leeway. I'm sure doing one of these INDIEGOGO Kickstarter projects is time consuming, and it's going to there's a lot of logistical things involved in getting this done, getting thousands of units shipped out on a time scale. I'm sure they're going to get things wrong. I gave them leeway. One thing I didn't like particularly was when I had the issue with it shutting down. I got in contact with them and it took them a long time to come back, and I felt like I had to threaten them with sending the projector back, or looking to get a charge back on this unit, which within a day of doing that, they were back in touch with me. So I think XGIMI, if you're listening, if you're watching this, just think about the people who backed this project. We are your customers. We are the people who will probably buy again from you if this product is good enough, and you come out with another product, say a full 4K projector at a decent price. You know, we're going to be the people that back you again if you are. If your customer service is good, if you help us and you let us understand why this is happening and why you can't contact us straight away, that kind of thing. I know you go out to these shows and things like that, and you're showing your projectors to people, and but as customers, we need your help, we need your feedback. You need to be in touch with us. So that's directed at XGIMI. Please help us as customers, because we're the ones who backed you and supported you, and if we do need help, we need help quick, and ways of sorting these things out. But like I said, there's been nothing apart from that, apart from the communication side, and most of the time through the whole Indiegogo campaign, it was great communication. I've sent plenty of emails to Summer and Apple, and I got feedback very quickly. It's just been after the fact. I know you're trying to send all these units out and get everybody sorted, you're trying to do stands, you're trying to get your cases sorted for everybody. I understand this, but just please bear in mind that we are your customers and your supporters, and we want to continue supporting you, hopefully in the future with great new products. So that's it. This is my very basic review of the XGIMI. I hope you like it. Please subscribe to me down there, down here somewhere, and just let me know how you like the video. If there's anything else you'd like me to give some feedback on, if you need any help, you can do so. Go to our Facebook site as well for the, not for Tested by Pixel Movers, but for the XGIMI H1 owners group. It's open to anybody who's got any XGIMI projector. So if you've got a Z1 Aurora, if you've got a H1, if you've got one of the smaller versions, I can't remember what they're called, but any projector at all for XGIMI, please come along and join our group, and post things, pictures of you using it, tell us what your setup is, anything like that. We want to hear from you. If you've got any problems, we aren't XGIMI, so we can't fix everything, but we are users of these particular products, and where we can, we will help you try and sort things out if you're having issues, which we have done already. So I know people are having some issues with, either they've not received their H1s yet and things like that, and it's dragging on a bit. I understand that. I do want people to come and join us, and we will try and help. If we have to send messages to XGIMI as well and try and G them on, we will do. But please do bear in mind that the logistics of the Indiegogo, what they've been doing is time consuming. They have other things to do as well, and shows to go to, Chinese holidays, that kind of thing. Just bear in mind that they're people, and they'll do the best they can, hopefully, and it'll be great to see your own reviews on this particular product as well, on here, on YouTube, and post them on our group site as well. If I see them, I'll share them as well. So I'm moderating it all the time, so if I see any people post their reviews, I'll share those reviews as well. Thank you for joining us again at Tested by Pixel Movers. I'm probably going to do a quicker review of the XGIMI Aurora, Z1 Aurora, which I think is a fantastic little portable projector, especially with the carry case it came with when I bought it. I didn't get it through the Indiegogo site, I got it through a company in the UK. Came with a nice carry case, 3D glasses, the works, which was really good. I say 3D glasses, 3D on the H1. 3D is, as if you get it in a dark room, we're lucky enough to have a living room which backs onto lots of other gardens and other houses. There's not a lot of light pollution, so we have a nice dark living room in an evening. If you can get a nice dark living room in an evening, the 3D on the H1 is spectacular. It's absolutely superb. Large screen, 3D. I watched Force Awakens. I've got the new box set of Force Awakens that came out with a 3D version on. Watched that the other day, and there's one with a Star Destroyer like right in front of you, and it's literally, the point of it feels like it's like in front of your face here. It just looks stunning. Obviously it's on a Blu-ray disc playing through, I had it playing through my Xbox H1, Xbox S, sorry. And because I've got the splitter and the stripper, it sent the signal through fine, a 3D signal. You may find issues if you don't have a splitter or something like that. It may not recognise the 3D. If you have issues, let me know, and I'll see if I can help if I can, either through our for a bit. But 3D on the on this is really good. Force Awakens is quite a dark movie throughout it, so it's probably not the best one to give the best 3D. I've watched other films as well, which are a lot lighter, some animated movies, that kind of thing, in 3D, and they look stunning as well. Very good depth, very little ghosting effect at all, if any. They are shutter glasses, so if you're looking away at other objects, like if you've got a light in the room, that kind of thing, you might see a little bit of a flicker. I understand active shutter glasses do give some people headaches. It's all that personal preference, but I thought the 3D on this projector is just absolutely stunning. Absolutely love it. Right, so what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to actually contact XGIMI and see if they will give us a H1 as a competition prize. So anybody viewing this, if you subscribe to me below and leave a message, and what I'd like you to do is be as creative as possible and let me know why you should win the XGIMI H1. We might not get one, we'll see. If I do, we'll look at that as the prize, but just leave a message below and be as creative as you can. You can do a video, you can do something, anything, whatever you do, and you want to share it or post it, if it's an image, whatever, leave a link to wherever you post it. For an image, you might have to do it on some image sharing site, something like that. But if you leave me a link to wherever it is and the video, you can post on YouTube, leave me the video link. Do something creative to show me why you should win this prize if we do get it. So enter anyway, in case we do. I would say if we don't, if we can't get the prize, I'll try and do something else as a prize anyway. It'll be a lot less, a lot smaller prize, but I'll do something as a giveaway for you entering. Well, we'll see what that is. It might be some Blu-ray discs, some films, that kind of thing. But I'll pick a winner and we'll choose a prize. If I can get an XGIMI, I'll try and do that. If I get on with XGIMI, see if we can get a H1, sorry, as a prize. And if I can do that, that'd be great. So just do that. Subscribe, leave me a comment, and as creative as possible, and we'll take it from there. Closing date will be 31st March. And we'll announce the winner within a week of that closing date. So fingers crossed, enter, and we'll talk soon. This has been Oliver at Tested by Pixel Movers, reviewing the XGIMI H1 1080p projector. Okay, bye.